can see you, right?
Good morning. Welcome to Community Voice. I'm your host, Keith Parris. I want to thank everybody for joining us this morning. Good morning, Michelle. Good morning, Jermaine.
Good morning.
Good morning, Debo.
Is that what just happened?
Close the door. Yeah, let me give you what you've been waiting for.
Hey, I'm going to take up an offering. Close the door.
Close the door.
Close the
Lock
door.
that door.
Lock that
Oh, I said lock that door. You ain't got nowhere to
Where you going? Where you
Nowhere
going?
to eat anyway.
I guess it's 2 times you're not supposed to. Okay. 2 times you're not supposed to walk in church, right? Get up and try to leave when they do invitation and certain offerings.
Yep.
So anyway, good morning, everybody. Good morning. I love all African people all over the world. I'll say it one more time. I love all African people all over the world.
You don't get no complaints or compliment, none of that stuff from us this morning, man. We've been beat down this morning by Michelle already.
I'm turning state.
Treadmill was a hero.
That's right.
Yeah, he was a victim, huh?
Hey, in order to be a victim,
Come on, keep it up, keep the chin up, little guy.
There go that thumb.
Come on,
buddy.
There you go, Slugger.
You can make it.
You can make it, Slugger.
you want to know?
Yes, dude.
Ask me. I'm turning state.
Oh man, right the
Yeah,
book.
right
Hold your babe.
Right quick.
Hold your babe. Hold your babe.
Listen
Anyway,
here, man.
welcome everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I'm going to get our guest as we make ready to have a conversation. But anyway, good morning, guys.
Top of the morning to you, sir.
Yeah. Hey.
Yes, sir.
It's all good. It's all good.
So how'd you sleep last night?
I slept. Actually, I slept pretty good.
Be careful, Keith. He's taking you
No,
somewhere.
see, come on, man. No,
I went to church.
He's going somewhere with that.
Church last night. It's been like the last 7
Has he
weeks.
been asking you how'd you sleep last night?
Shut up, man. Hey, don't go down this rabbit hole, as you say, with this guy. So are y'all doing the 7 words of Jesus too?
Oh, you know we getting ready.
Friday.
We getting ready to kill Jesus Friday.
I ain't even gonna lie, man. When I was playing for a community, and we used to go over through the years.
That's right. You used to come up.
Yeah, to Tabernacle and
then Mount Zion.
Mount Zion.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I was on the organ after like the 5th hour, like, dude, kill him already, man. It was so long.
Like, kill him already?
Yeah,
we need to kill him.
like,
So he
Jesus, kill him already so I can go home.
That the brutality, people will really go through the brutality of crucifixion, and I got it, man. I mean, I got it. But it is one of our traditions. It's not just something we do here locally; it's done nationally.
Yeah.
And so preachers have been doing a lot of preaching during Lenten season. And you gonna grab it?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So I look forward to it. I know we'll be at Mount Zion on Friday. Yeah. And I know there's a couple other groups that they're having. My mom was a real innovator. She was one of the first people, if not the first person, to say we need to do this at night for the people that work.
Yeah.
And so at Metropolitan, we used to do our last 7 words in the evening. Now I know people do it during the actual time of crucifixion. During the actual time of crucifixion, and it's Easter season.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, but
is it Easter season or is it resurrection season?
Well, I don't know. I kind of started asking that question yesterday.
Yeah.
So anyway, we'll pick that up. Right. Tomorrow is Good Friday. Yep. As we get our guest here. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing very well. We're joined in studio. We're joined in the studio by Miss Frances Pitts. I'm not laughing at what pronounce your name. Someone just sent me an annoying text. So,
Okay.
and as my friend said, I'm like Bubbles. Ooh, but Frances Pitts, you tell us a little bit about you.
Oh, thank you. Glad to be here this morning, and thank you for giving me this opportunity to share about my upcoming seminar.
Mhm.
I am from Francis Pitt Speaks, which is an international speaking and training company. Retired from MATC as a professor about 2 years ago. And now I'm reconnecting with the community to do the seminar, which is my first love and my first passion. Um, I'm from North Carolina. Glad to be in Milwaukee. I have spent
Where in North Carolina?
right outside of Raleigh, Durham,
Okay.
from a huge farm that I
Okay.
grew up on in the days when tobacco and cotton and all those things were in. And then our family switched from that to growing prawns, Prawns,
Mm.
which are freshwater shrimp.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm a country lady, grew up working. I wouldn't say hard because I was the younger one, but I know about work ethics. I enjoy people and anything I can do to help myself grow and the community.
You do? Did you matriculate in terms of your college there in North Carolina?
Yeah. I went to North Carolina Central University
Oh, okay.
in Durham,
Okay.
and then from there to UWM for graduate degree in social work.
So you have been. So your background has been in the social services space.
Right. I owned an outpatient mental health clinic in the early 80s.
Okay.
And then from there to New York Life as a sales agent. And then from there to Francis Pitt and Associates, which was my first speaking organization. And I'm really part of a second one called Francis Pitt Speaks as we speak today.
You know, a lot of us can talk. We're very good at talking. We like to hear ourselves talk. But that speaking piece is something different, isn't it?
Quite different. But, as we learn the rules or the techniques, you can be as great as the Les Brown or all the others that we see out here.
There's a day.
Yeah, I knew and met Les long before he became famous from a church called Christ Universal Temple in Chicago.
Mm-hmm. That's Dr.
Johnny Coleman.
They had a church here.
Yeah.
On Fond du Lac, right?
Right. They had one on 76 and Silver Spring.
Okay.
I think they have been at least two.
Yeah.
So, but that's
Johnny
where
Coleman
I got my started.
She was a trailblazer.
Powerful lady.
Great speaker. But, women in clergy was already problematic when she came along in the 670s. Mm-hmm. And then, to be able to go out and start her own.
Yes.
And then have branches of that church she's an amazing
in
story.
many states and also in foreign countries as well. So she was a trailblazer. Most of your authors at the time would come to her church because she had at that time like maybe 4,000 members.
Mm-hmm.
So any Black author that was writing a book, this is like late 80s, early 90s, they would be at her church. And a lot of our actors, like Della Reese was one of her ministers. Ben Vereen was one of her ministers.
Okay.
The man who wrote God Didn't Make the Little Green Apples. What was his name?
Cameron, right?
But he was also one of her ministers. So she had like celebrities, locals, everybody wanting to learn how to live a better life. And that was her message.
And part of the title of your workshop is Empowering Who's in the Mirror. Talk about this idea of empowerment. That's your phone?
Yes.
Oh, well, it'll be okay.
Sorry about that. Okay, empowerment, a seminar title that I really love. So empowering who's in the mirror simply mean when we look at a woman, and this is how I start the seminar off, we have a picture of a woman in a rose. The rose is open about 60%. So when we look at our lives, we may be operating at a 60% level of what we believe we can do, what we want to do, and what our goals are. So that day, we will just peel back the layers to understand what is holding us back, what can we do more of, what about the mindset, and which I learned from Dr. Coleman is 4 things that we have to do in order to move forward. Number 1 is to watch our thoughts. So we call them right thoughts. Number 2 is right words, because if we're using the right words to uplift ourselves and others, magical things can happen. Number 3 would be what we call right actions, or the actions that we're taking daily, leading us toward our dreams, our goals, our ambitions. And then number 4 would be right reactions in life. How do we go about our lives on a daily basis and react to the things that are not going the way that we would like them to be? It's all in how we handle it. If someone step on your toe, no big deal, no problem. Or you could react, if you do that one more time, I'm going to hit you, or I'm going to do something. So 5 we call right feelings. And to me, that's the most important one. How do you feel about your life? How do you feel when your eyes pop open first thing in the morning? How are you feeling about your day? How will you make it a great day? Or is it a day, oh, it's another day? When it could be, look, this is exciting. This is my goal. These are the people I'm meeting with today. They're working with a new mindset, new possibility, levels of possibility. So everything is those 5 pointers. And when we put them together, we create who we are right this moment as I talk to you.
It's Century used that term right. And even I know from a religious space, we talk about righteousness, but rightness, right?
Right.
And then in philosophy, it's called right reasoning. Okay. Right. The ability. Now, it's funny you talk about the words you use, and there's a book someone gave me as a gift called Grammar for a Full Life by Lawrence Weinstein, and talk about the power of our words.
Yes.
But what gives our words power is how we use those words, right? And the words that we use, and clearly understanding that. Why is a workshop like this so important?
I think once we are empowered, and there's a saying, I do a seminar called The Greatness You Are Seeking is Also Seeking You. So once we realize that the universe also wants us to be successful, then it's easier. And seminars like this give myself and other people the opportunity to realize the greatness I am seeking already is. I just have to realize it's there. Meet the right people, surround myself with the right people, and be willing to do the work to reach whatever the goal is.
You're obviously in adult education,
Correct.
and certain adult learning. How important is it for us, in order to receive new information, is to lose some of the old information we've come up with?
Well, it's called let go. It's called let go and let God. And whenever we can actually do that, let go of the old and replace it with new possibilities or new attitude, new words, and new expectations. Has to be space there to do that, but you got to get rid of the old stuff in order to have room for the new you.
Is there age limitation on empowering our minds?
Well, actually, in my last seminar a couple of months ago, the age range was actually 22 to 83. And I tell you, the young people were gathering around the older to get their information, and the older were connected to the young. So there's something about intergenerational learning that each end of the prospect enjoy. The young want to be with the old, and the old truly enjoy being with the younger people. And I shouldn't call them old. I should say the mature people in the audience enjoyed being with the younger.
In African culture, age is really venerated. I mean, it's important. There's an assumption that in terms of your living, there should have been a certain amount of wisdom one has acquired on the journey.
Mhm.
And I think that that's why we hold our elders. You know, there are some African traditions where people will ask, who's the oldest in the room? And they would ask, may I have permission to proceed?
Right.
You know, because we respect that. I think sometimes maybe that's just a critique, is that sometimes maybe the older people are not as sensitive to the fact that there are people who come in behind them need to learn from them.
Mhm.
And how do we get to the point where I can not put them down in order to elevate them?
Mhm.
You know, where we kind of diminish the experience of the young, and the young do it. They diminish the experiences of the old. But I like that whole idea, almost like the circle, that when
Mhm.
we're in the circle, everybody's equal.
That's true. Like on the farm that I grew up with, I can remember my aunties and uncles working very closely with the young because the desire was to pass that knowledge from generation to generation. Uh, and the love and the affection that we received, and the Black history. My father's side of the family was very much into Black history
Mhm.
and education and being proud and eyeball to eyeball conversation, looking people in the eye. So I learned all that at an early age because one of the expectation in our house was everybody would work on the farm until they're 18, but then at that point everybody was expected to go to college. And a proud thing I like to share about the farm is it's been in our family since 1868.
Wow.
So it's generation after generation working to make that farm more prosperous and
So
move
you
it
all were
forward.
landowners.
Yes. Hmm.
Right? I mean, you know, people kind of. I was very fortunate to come from certainly on my mother's side, people who own land.
Hmm.
And people don't realize that, and again, we can get the complicated history in America, but land is power, right?
Right.
And so the people were able to have land. They were able to think there was a certain empowerment. Oh, we're back to that word. Certain empowerment they had
Right.
because they own land.
Hmm. And that was passed down to us.
So generational wealth.
Yes, to be proud Black people and to learn what you need to learn and to help others. I was not a great farmer because I was kind of like on the last to come, but I knew the value of it.
Mhm.
And I knew that our ancestors had worked very hard. And I knew the stories of how they got the first farm, the second farm, and the third. So I had history and information, which made me know that, greater things were expected of us.
So when, where are you having this workshop, the seminar?
Okay, it's next Thursday, the 24th of April. And it's at a place called Uplifting Mansion. And I think it's so appropriate that we are there because that's our whole goal is to uplift the consciousness of the individuals that are participating. It's a beautiful mansion that has been restored by a young African American woman. So we're excited to be there.
Okay. Wow. So the address there?
That's 3121 West Wisconsin Avenue.
So how do I register?
You go to my website, which is francispittspeaks.com, and you can enroll there.
Wow. It sounds powerful.
I feel it is, and I really want it to be an experience where people walk away with tools to become a better person and also to find the value of your powerful thoughts, your words, your actions, and reactions, and how we can all live life at a different level as we move forward in 2025.
Ms. Frances Pitts presents Empowering Who's in the Mirror, Trusting the Magic Within. That'll be April 24th at 9:30, from 9:30 to 12 p.m. at the Uplifting Mansion, 3121 West Wisconsin Avenue. Again, if people want to register,
Just go to francispittspeaks.com.
appreciate you.
And thank you for giving me this time to share.
Thank you for coming and sharing with us.
You're welcome.
You're listening to Community Voice. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back.
AURN News.
I'm Jamie Jackson. A new book reveals how the longtime political alliance between Joe Biden and Barack Obama continued to unravel during the 2024 election. In Fight, journalists Jonathan Allen and Amy Parnes describe the deep years-long feud between the two men. Allen tells AURN News more.
Biden always felt like Obama kind of snubbed him some, and particularly because in 2016, Obama got behind Hillary Clinton at a time when Joe Biden wanted to run and thought it was his turn, thought it was, and then 2020, Obama told anyone who would listen that Biden wasn't up to it to run, and Biden ran anyway and won the presidency. And, at this point, Biden no longer thinks that Obama's got particularly good judgment. And Obama looks at Biden as somebody who's not, number one, was never as good at politics as Obama, never quite as smooth or talented.
For AURN News, I'm Jamie Jackson.
That soul-stirring gospel Easter bash is gonna be a bash you don't want to miss at Abundant Face, located at 7830 West Good Hope Road. The Captain Spirituals. Come on now, Spencer Taylor and the Highway QCs. The fabulous Luckett Brothers. Pastor Tim Rogers and the Phillips is gonna be in the house. Bishop Neil Robeson, Reverend R.L. Bush, and the Revived Son, Willie Rogers, Tiffany Terry, Willie Banks Jr., and the Messengers. Curtis Eubanks. Now get your tickets at the New Mortuary. Call 414-447-6000.
On WNOV 860 AM and 106.5 FM with your host, Keith Parris.
Welcome back to Community Voice. And let me say that yesterday I went to the homegoing services, Miss Kayla Mann. That was a hard one. It's a hard one because, you know, I often talk about the rights as clergy that we administer the ordinances of the church. And one of them is baptism. We talk about marriage. And then obsequy, which are like funerals. This young lady, I think was 33.
Yeah, I seen it on Facebook.
But I had her in children's church. I had her in youth ministry. I baptized her, and that's always tough, man, when you don't. And I know we push back against the reality. We say young people shouldn't die. Young people die like old people die, like middle-aged people die, like children die. But there's this song I always quote from that Luther Vandross did on, I think, his best album, Luther Vandross, where he says that hearts get broken all the time. The problem is this time the heart that's broken is mine. Yeah. You know, we think about people dying, and so to Kendra and Kata, her sister, her mom, her brothers, just wanted to let you know that more than you're in our prayers, you're in our thoughts. That's just very difficult. And so, I mean, I love Kayla. She just had this great little personality, really smart. So when you work with these kids, last night, as part of, there's a group of churches that come together during Lenten season to worship, and each pastor of the churches each night is responsible for the service on Wednesdays. And last night, my pastor was the speaker, Russell B. Williamson, and you know, he talked about hope for the children. And you know, I think we pay lip service sometimes to, children are our future, let them laugh and let them lead the way. But sometimes I don't know if we're always mindful. Yeah. Many people are, but it was just like Miss Pitts was saying, that in her family, that land had been in their family for over 100 years, and being able to pass it on, and the legacy that you're able to pass on. Yeah. And as the pastor was speaking last night, there is a scripture, I think it's the beginning of Numbers, Chronicles, where it says that after Joshua's generation had passed, there came a generation who knew not the Lord and his goodness. I'm paraphrasing. What happened that you would have people who move from bondage to freedom to prosperity, and then you lose a generation? Yeah. Part of that is, what are we passing on to that generation? You know, I used to say this quite often. We act as if these kids were dropped here from a different planet. Yeah. Not that we had them, not that we created them, nor that we're responsible for them. Yeah. And so I get a little frustrated when I hear people calling in saying, these young people, when you look at the statistics and say that nonsense seems to be spread across the age spectrum. Yeah, you know, that's true. And so to vilify, you know, an entire generation. Now look, real talk, we were vilified as a generation. Yeah. I would look at, well, Debo, you and Jermaine, y'all kind of, you know, at the end, well, you guys would be what, Gen Xers?
I don't know. I was born in 76.
Yeah. And Debo's 66.
No, Debo was born in 36.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I thought you was born in 36. I thought you.
No, you didn't.
I thought it was 36 BC.
No.
He was with Moses and them.
You hadn't thought that by any means of the, you know.
Okay.
No way. So.
Well, you look good for 1936. I'm
trying to tell you, man.
Yeah. I'm sure I do.
That's that blessed oil you drink every morning.
That Mississippi
castor oil.
That sipping, man. That you got. But there are people out there like 104, 103, and these folks
and still moving around.
Yeah, I mean, but now part of that is though we're not where we should be. But part of it is the work that we used to do that really broke us down. We're not doing.
Yeah.
And then the advancement in medical and healthcare.
I know. I was watching this guy on TV. He was like 101 years old. He was moving around. He was still, moving around good. And they asked him what was the key to, him having so much energy at that age. And he said he changed his diet to like, what do you say, 80% fruit and water. He laid off the meat and prayer.
Three of those things I could do.
Yeah, that meat thing is hard for me, man.
I thought you were gonna say that prayer.
No, that meat thing is hard for me, Doc. I need that bird. I need to season my bird.
Man, that is, ooh, man. Man, I'm a carnivore dude. And I'm pretty good about watching, even though I had a bag of chips this morning, watching my carbs and the amount of sugar. But man, I'm gonna tell you, shoot, dude, go put it. Just say no, brother. Yeah. Just say no. Just come on, you guys.
I'll be fiending for that chocolate.
Up with hope, down with dope.
Up with hope.
As I quote Jesse Jackson.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, man. So anyway, thank God for life.
Yeah.
Celebrate life.
Yeah.
I know there's a whole lot that goes on in life, but the alternative, and as much as we want to complain and complain about how hard life is, when we start talking about the alternative,
yes, sir.
You run clean from that.
Yeah.
Keith.
Yes, sir.
I was looking up some numbers here, and I wanted to share this with Brother Jermaine. The rat, the snitch,
state evidence,
the
man.
one that turns
state property.
Married men tend to live longer than single guys.
No, that ain't true.
It is true.
That ain't true.
But you know why? Because they have someone to take care of them. I mean, literally, they do. Married men live longer. Again, we're talking a quantitative.
Oh, okay, I would say put some clarity on that thing.
Yeah, I ain't gonna comment on the quality.
I would say put some clarity
if you look
on
at, and if he goes, and I think there's a counter number there when you look at the number of women who are single, living alone, past 60.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that for a lot of reasons. It could be, divorce, it could be widowship. But yeah, it does, because men do live longer who tend to be married.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I can't agree with that, because I've seen it with my own eyes. But my question, the reverse side of it, when one of those in the relationship passes away, it seems like it's not too long after that the other one passes away.
It could, because Brenda talks about it a lot. Broken heart. I mean, people have become so entwined in terms of just being together. When that person is gone, they kind of shut down. Yeah. So yeah, there are that is true. Yeah. It makes a difference when somebody's there just nagging you to go to the doctor. I mean, because you may or may not want to go, because you a man, you can handle yours. You all broke up, you need to go see somebody. I'm just saying.
I don't know what some spirit led me to share that with you, Brother Jermaine.
I'll tell you what that spirit was. That was a spirit of confusion. Spirit of
confusion. Y'all, don't be getting all deep church up in here.
Confusion.
Lock the doors,
Lock
Usher.
the door. Close the door.
Get my Teddy on.
Teddy be giving some directions, Tony. Turn off the lights. Hey, wait a minute. You didn't do it quick enough. Turn them off.
I wanted to publicly thank publicly thank Jermaine as he came out on yesterday and sang at my cousin's funeral. Of course, tore the church up.
What you say, man? What you say, mate?
Change gonna come, man.
Boy, that's your thing.
I love that thing, man. That thing do something to me, man.
Are you said anything to Sam Cooke's estate?
Actually, Harry Fox. I looked up on Harry Fox. That song is public domain, so anybody can use it. Yes, sir. It's public domain.
Wow.
So that's why I actually recorded a version of it. My version, I had recorded a version of it because after going on the site and seeing, and that's one of the songs that if they would have never made public domain, they can make so much money off because everybody redo it.
Man, it became, and everybody know the backstory on that song. Yeah. After Bob Dylan had wrote "Blowing in the Wind."
Yeah.
And they were saying, dude, Malcolm X asked him, so man, where's your Blowing in the Wind? And Sam Cooke was saying, man, I wish I could do Blowing in the Wind. I think he recorded it.
He recorded it, yeah.
And they was like, no. So then he wrote "The Change Is Gonna Come."
So that was like a couple days before he got killed too.
Is that right?
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm. He did the song, recorded it, and I believe it was a day or 2 days after is when he was killed.
Let me shout out your girl, Sandra B.
Yeah.
She sang yesterday. And this is a Daryl Hines song, right? All I have.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And I'm sitting up here thinking like, boy, you a genius. Yeah. That is such a beautiful song. Oh my God. I know Phoebe
smacked that song when she recorded
one time
it.
Sam was able to sing it in front of Phoebe. But yeah, man, that is I just got goosebumps because when I was listening to the lyrics, it was the melody. Oh man, dude, that was like, he cold.
Yeah.
Can I just say it?
Yeah,
he cold.
Man, that cat pen is
dude. That is a beautiful, beautiful song, and to the point that she was finished. And the worship leader went down. No, you got to do a little bit more of this. But no, man. So shout out again to Sandra, known all her life.
Yeah.
And certainly to Bishop Daryl Hines for that gift of that song. Man.
To even write a song of that magnitude and have a melody. This song was written in the 80s. Mm-hmm. That's how timeless that song is. It was written in the 80s. And to hear people singing now and it still have that same impact, that same power from when
I'm the dude. If it's a great song, man, you don't, and there are good songs out there.
Yeah.
But every now and then somebody writes a great song, and you just go like, whoa, that one was. What was there's a song now that Donald Lawrence has now called Words.
Oh yeah.
And and I just love it because Donald Lawrence, I understand he's under Bill Winston and so he does a lot of that Bill Winston prosperity. I appreciate all of that. But his song sometimes the lyrics, and so I fell in love with it because I love words, and so we had Kennedy and Caitlin came to pick up Kennedy, and the song was just playing. I just put it on. It was playing. And so maybe 15 minutes after Caitlin and Kennedy left, Caitlin texted me. She said, "Poppy, what was that song that was playing? I can't get it out of my head." And so I sent it to her. And even on Facebook, there's a line in there, I will not harm you with the words that I speak. Yeah. And really, and that's the other "I Need You to Survive" by Hezekiah Walker, which is one of the rare songs where it is not what would be considered a hymn. Yeah. This is a song, I don't even know how you would categorize it because they're not singing it to God, we're singing it to each other.
Yeah, they call that universal.
Yeah, and for me, now it has become a very important part of it. Used to be that I didn't try to walk during invitation. Yeah. If I get up before invitation, I was good. Certainly didn't walk during invitation. That's a very important part of service. Yeah. But I get out of there before benediction. And I'll never forget, I don't know if it was something I was watching, and a guy did a sermon. And he said, don't leave before you get your final blessing. Yeah. And so then I went and looked up benediction and what it meant. So it was funny last night. Because I do this. If I come and you have to sit through one of my messages, and if the worship leader will allow me to do benediction, my benediction song is God be with you.
Come on, man. Yes, sir.
And then I encourage people to sing it to somebody because that is that wish of that final blessing that God be with
Until
you.
we meet again.
Oh man,
Yes,
dude,
sir.
that. Now the other song though, till we meet.
Oh yeah. Till we reach that distance.
Don't do that one.
Doc, that song do something to me though.
It does. So we do it at your funeral.
That song.
We ain't gonna do it in regular service.
Yeah, don't do it at mine.
Because that song is talking about
Yeah.
when we reach those distant shores. That sounds like
we will
death
study
to me.
war no more. We will give you strength to endure till we meet again. So
why wouldn't we do it at yours?
Because I'm gonna be there. So
yeah, you're gonna be there.
No,
be there.
I'm gonna be there alive and well. So listen. What I'm saying is, don't say y'all gonna do it at my funeral. How about we do it at your funeral and I play it for you?
I said do it at your
No, I don't like that idea. I don't like that.
See, now you don't like the idea of how that sounds.
No,
but you want to do it at mine.
Cool. I like the way it sounds. You definitely do it at my funeral. I don't have a problem with that.
Because that means that I'm gonna be alive and well.
You need to get it cleared with Rhonda.
Yeah.
It sounds
well,
like
Rhonda may not be there either, though.
She kicked her
like, well, he kicked the bucket. Let's go.
Keith said on a cruise in her fur coat.
In July. Like I'm gonna enjoy all the fruits of his labor.
Everybody's at Keith's funeral but his wife. Right? Where Rhonda? Well, Rhonda couldn't be here with us.
Hey, Keith gonna sit up like, hold up. Rhonda, the whole church gonna run.
Yeah.
Boy, that's something though when your wife don't show up for your funeral.
Well, she may not be able to either because she could be incarcerated.
The reason why we have the funeral
in the first place.
She may be incarcerated.
Depot.
The reason for the funeral is that he was clouded.
It ain't the first time that will have happened.
Right.
Yeah.
And I don't think they let you come in those I don't know if they still do it at the House of Correction. You pay $750.
Well, for the shackles and
and the orange, and you come in the orange jumpsuit.
Yeah,
forget my boy.
It depends on if it's the immediate family.
But I don't know if they can do it because of staffing now.
No, that might be it.
Right, but yeah, my buddy came to his mama's funeral in that orange jumpsuit. They had paid $750.
Man, one of my guys. His son,
that's got to be so humiliating.
Dude, his son was killed, and he was in prison at that time. And at first, they weren't gonna let him come, so he was going crazy up there. He was tearing up the prison, and one of the wardens, felt bad and was like, "Man, let him go down there so he can pay his last respect to his son." And me seeing that, it did something to me, man, because knowing that you only get this small amount of time to spend with him, but then you got to go back to your cell and deal with what you just saw.
Yeah, well,
that's the part right there. Once they return you back to the facility,
yeah, like wow.
Sure, you was able to see cousins and kinfolk and so forth that you hadn't seen.
A whole lot of guilt because there was behavior that got you in the joint in the first place, right? And if you weren't there,
y'all ever heard that song "Mama" by Bishop Bullwinkle?
Mm-mm.
He talks about exactly what we're talking about now, and he says, "Shut up, sit back down. You one of the reasons Mama going down in the ground."
Oh man,
wow,
real talk.
Worrying about you in and out of jail,
right.
And yeah, he puts it down on that record.
Wow,
yeah. When you read the story of Job, if you go to the first chapter, Job prayed regularly for his children.
Yeah,
he prayed regularly for his children.
Mm-hmm.
But if we know things happen, right?
Yes, sir.
But yeah, there are people out there, and you're right about that, Debo. There's a whole lot of people in the ground, big mamas, sit up here worried about Keith.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
cause that stress and pressure.
Right.
But speaking of funerals, man, I gotta show y'all this, man. I wasn't going.
We gonna show it on break, man. We
gotta show you this stuff.
Is that the body?
Yes.
Go on, man.
Debo,
what is he? Wait. Hold it up for the camera. Let me bring the camera in, y'all. Those of you that are watching on Facebook and YouTube, right. Hold on. Let me get the right camera for.
If I walk up in there, that nigga sitting on the coffin, I'm turning around and walking out.
Stay there. Wait, is it going in circles?
Hey, playing Luther Vandross. Got me going in circles.
Man, quit playing.
There you go.
Unbelievable, bro.
Oh.
Hey, this cat starts singing.
Man,
That
that's
friends of distinction, right?
yeah.
Unbelievable, man. Well, why would you want to go to a service like that? I'm leaving.
I'm
running
related.
up out of there.
Well, I'm gonna see it. Then I'm gonna leave.
Oh, I gotta go because I'm a hater.
Yeah. Wish I had a thought of that,
Yeah,
right?
you know, I gotta be there. You know, I'm
Man, why didn't I think of that first?
right. You know, come on, man. Really, with a whole lot of people, that's why they going to hate.
Oh yeah, they
You
going
know,
to see.
but a
what's
lot
gonna
of
happen.
people go because they know there's some good eating after the service.
See, but why go to the service when you just go to the repast?
Oh man, how
That is so inappropriate.
They won't know.
If
Yes, they will.
if you
They
don't make
did.
the service, somebody
they
can notice.
the family, the body ain't at the repass.
I'm just
A
saying.
lot of folks notice.
Put it
when
on
you
the
don't
elevator,
make the
take it
service.
downstairs. The body ain't at
No.
the repass.
But did you see? And I can prove it, and I can show you. This happened in Georgia. They had the funeral, and they wanted him to get one last stroll to the strip club. So they took the casket and the body to the strip club, man. It's on video.
Well,
They took the
Probably
body
why-
to the strip
probably why
club,
that Negro is dead.
opened up the casket, and had the girls dancing around him while he was dead, and they was throwing money to the girls. But
You know when it would have been
that would have freaked me out.
You know
man.
would have been a problem
If you
when
got
he,
up,
when he started making it rain.
like, hey, hold up.
I'm not telling you I'm superstitious, but I am scary.
Hey, Doc,
And you know,
I'm up
just
out of there with you.
dude, I'm gone, man. Really? You know that is the survival instinct of descendants of enslaved
Right.
Africans. Like something wrong here.
I'm out of here.
So I'm
Yeah,
out of here,
is
man.
true.
This ain't feeling right, man.
Well, man,
This-
that's like with black people on scary movies, man. Like they not going to see where that sound is coming from, and they going the other way.
they still gonna get killed.
They still gonna get killed, but they
You know, and wasn't that one of the books last Black History Month?
yeah.
The black guy always
Always get
dies.
killed first.
Yeah, yeah. So you know, if you
Keith say, yeah, he's still gonna get killed.
and you know who had
that
the
one commercial was
Oh yeah, when they was hiding the chainsaw, dude.
Let's hide
right,
there.
right.
Yeah.
You always wonder why are you running upstairs?
Yeah, when you go out
out the door.
get in your
So
car and
accurate,
leave.
if you will, so accurate of how those with less pigmentation in their skin
Oh,
respond.
buddy, man.
And you wonder why we talking at the movie.
You're right,
Dude, he behind the curtain.
Go that
You
way.
don't see him?
man. Let's hide right here.
That's right here with the chainsaws.
Dude, you don't hear it?
And then you see like the dude who's supposed to be Freddy.
Yeah,
and
he
then
like-
he looked like, really?
I don't
You
even
gonna
want to
make it-
kill y'all no
you
more.
gonna make it
This
that
is
easy? Really?
just too easy.
They're like, I don't even want to
Too
kill
easy,
y'all no
man.
more. This
Really?
ain't fun.
Yeah, but you notice Keith and Jermaine,
Oh, we
they
go
weren't in that shot.
out of there.
Yeah, they
Yeah, they'd already ran.
already go. And that was a commercial.
Right. So just imagine real life.
Real. Where you going?
Hey,
Oh,
man.
I didn't know it was a commercial. I thought. Anyway, we're listening to Community Voice. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back.
You're inside Community Voice on WNOV 860 AM and 106.5 FM with your host, Keith Parris.
All right, welcome back to Community Voice. We're inside the Wisconsin Black Chamber of Commerce moment. Hey, y'all.
Hey.
Hey.
Yeah,
Good
welcome
morning,
back.
man. Thank you.
Are we
Thank you.
on? Is my mic hot? Hello, hello.
Hello. hello.
You blown away over there. That's so funny.
Yeah, that's on.
That happened to me at Walmart the other day. I was trying to buy some Kahlua, which has alcohol in it, and they carded me. And I was laughing. She said, I got a card. Everybody that looks 40 or under. I said, okay. And then she looked at my birthday. She was like, no way. I usually tell people don't change your face. If I'm at a club trying to be cute, I'm like, don't change the look on your face when you see my birthday. Because everybody be like everybody else is like, how old is you making that face?
Wow.
Anywho.
Hey, Ruben.
73.
Good morning. Good morning.
Doesn't she, Keith?
I'm not.
Keith, who would have ever thunk it? 73. She looks good for 73.
Who? Not me.
Yes,
I'm
we're referring to
73.
you.
Good Lord. let me take my time. I'll be there soon enough.
No, I mean, you were saying folks be surprised.
They do.
Okay.
You know what's crazy though? I don't know how if you go back for your high school reunions
Oh.
and some people
Leave that alone, Keith. Leave it alone.
No, some people age real well. And
There are
others
those.
didn't. I mean, and now people looking at their 30th, and because when I went to the 10th, oh man, everybody was still. I'm 28. But then you get to 20, you get to 30, and now you get to 40.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing is, and I get so frustrated with old people conversation, right? Because first thing we're gonna do is, hey, the weather, and then the medication we take.
Yeah, man. I just went to my 30th class reunion last year. And, I'm seeing faces and I remember them being younger, but I'm looking at them like, wow,
right.
Like y'all really look
And there's
different.
some people, man, I'm telling you, literally, other than the life weight gain, they look exactly the same as they did in high school. You put on a few pounds, but when you look at them, you going like, and then some people you didn't even recognize. You walk.
I get that from people, because I'm from Milwaukee. Mm-hmm. So even people I went to grade school with, they'll see me. I have no clue who these people are, but they see me and everybody says, you still just look the same. You got the same face. I'm like, I can't look the same as when I was 6 now. Come on.
Compare your pictures. Around my birthday, I usually do this little collage. So we start with baby Keith.
I should do that.
Baby Keith.
Anywho.
Then we get to 3rd grade Keith. Then there's nothing in between that till we get to high school Keith. Then we get to college Keith, and then we get to adult Keith. So you see that, but a lot of us, I mean, this is so crazy though, Ruben. I bumped into a young lady a few years back. We lived on 4th Street. She lived, and I'm using the old street name, so not now it's Vale Phillips. She lived on
4th Street?
Yeah. Between Wright and Montague.
Oh, you was down further.
Yeah,
okay.
and so she lived right on 3rd Street. They lived above the old Unity. You remember the Unity party?
I don't remember.
Okay, she don't. But anyway, so we would walk to day camp together. And I guess maybe I was crushing. I don't know. We walked to day camp together. I met her as an adult. And she said, and I didn't know, I guess my voice was the same. She said, oh, I remember the voice. And I thought, man, you can remember how somebody looked. Now, I can tell you somebody you remember the voice when we was growing up. That was James Turan. Because James Turan always had this high-pitched voice. He was tall. He always had, so there's certain voices. But anyway, with that said, welcome back, Wisconsin Black Chamber of Commerce.
Hey, we in the house.
In the house. What we got going on, y'all?
So much. Just take the time to breathe. And now we're just moving forward. Things are changing. We're doing a lot of changes. We're doing some rebranding because you got to understand staying relevant in this business, So, and again, I told a lot of folks, I said, while we got this grant, we can take advantage of it. But once this grant is gone, we still got to be able to operate as an organization. And that's where we're at. And we're in that transition where we're organizing, we're doing things a little different, and we're going to have some fun doing it.
We definitely gonna have some fun because I'm still there. That means we're still gonna have some amazing events.
Well, I'm not saying that.
We still gonna have some amazing events, and we have one. Well, of course, we have Third Thursday tonight at Cream City Social Eatery, 432 East Center, 5 to 9 p.m. So come out and pitch. All right, make sure you get in for the pitch. That $10,000 can definitely help somebody. Keith, you want $10,000? You got your spoon, pitch ready?
Rent a spoon.
Rent a spoon.
Rent a spoon.
We ready to rock.
Did we talk to the winners? We talked to the winners in January, right?
We did talk to them, because Grace was on virtually, and I think George was here with us.
That's right.
And
yeah, so they're gonna really like tonight because we actually present the actual checks to them tonight, so they're gonna be
From last year?
Yeah.
Okay.
So they're gonna be excited about that.
They were definitely excited when I called them.
And so that, along with other changes that we're making, we got to get our businesses to understand our businesses operate at such an entry level, a lot of them, and we're trying to get them past the entry level stuff. All the free stuff you get there's a free level of entry level stuff, and once you get past that, you got to be ready to operate.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I'm finding is that people are jumping the gun in many cases. People are they don't know how to get unstuck when they're in situations. All this stuff going on in social media, and they're looking at all this stuff on Instagram and what's the other thing that everybody's
TikTok.
watching? Yeah, the TikTok, all this TikTok stuff. People are so confused about what's real and what's not real, and they say you can make $20,000 a week. And I tell people to just stop and breathe, because there's work involved in growing your business.
Are there, as we look at where we are in terms of the economy, obviously we had challenges going back to 2020 and COVID, but now we're dealing with some other things, self-inflicted wounds, self-inflicted, and that's not plural, one person did it. So the issue of the cost of things are going up, right? The cost of getting money is going up, right? I mean, the interest rates are going up. So these challenges that these businesses now are facing, and then are you trying to help them navigate these new challenges, the new landscape?
So much is changing where the Black business community is concerned. There are networks being built around the country where we're connecting to people all over the country. There's media networks being built. There's social media networks that are exclusively for Black people being built. There are a lot of different things being built, but again, it's going to take time for people to realize that when they say we need to work together, they're not saying that. They're saying that we need to start trusting each other. They're saying that we need to start sharing information. On the Wisconsin Black Chamber website, on our homepage, we have over 2,000 Black businesses that you can order products and services from, right? So there's no excuse for us not being able to connect to each other and be able to help Black businesses grow. I saw something the other day where the numbers, where the guy was saying that Black people was spending $2 million a day at Target.
Jesus.
And because he was saying there's no Black business that gets that kind of business from the Black community, right? And that we need to understand the real buying power we have, and that's why they targeted Target, because Target made a pledge said that we're gonna put this money into the black community after George Floyd, and then as soon as they got a chance with this idiot we have in the White House, soon as they got a chance, they reneged.
What?
Right? They said, no, we're not doing that. So they started taking all their DEI and all that stuff out of their stores. And so
a part of that was the lesson, good or bad, that was learned when one of the Budweiser brands had they had put trans people as part of the ad campaign, and people threatened to boycott. As a matter of fact, that particular brand took a big hit. I think Target was worried about that because, as you said, from the White House down, the attacks on DEI was such that people didn't want people to say, okay, they're going to boycott Target. And as much as the importance of black business is to Target, white business is more important. And when I say more important, is their share, right? Is their biggest share. So I wish, now there were some people that didn't. Costco, right? Costco said, no, we're going to, and I think if people would have had, but you know, it's always that bottom line. And part of why they did DEI was part of their bottom line, right? And
but can I ask a question? And y'all know I always bring the devil's advocate side. So we know that DEI, the primary beneficiary of that was not us.
Right.
So why are we so up in arms about that?
Because we were the ones targeted, even though we're not.
How were we targeted? If it's not us benefiting from, you know, they knew that we weren't the ones benefiting from it.
Okay. The point is that if you had products in Target, all of a sudden your products were no longer in Target. That's so.
That ain't how that worked.
That's not how that worked.
They didn't just pull the black stuff out.
Products. It was other things they were doing in terms of access to jobs, things like that.
There were times they took down signage.
Right. Now that could have happened.
Right. They took down signage that was ethnic signage. They started taking all that stuff down, and you know, it's almost like being part of, like I like to say, Visit Milwaukee, right? You can be part of Visit Milwaukee and you can be a member of Visit Milwaukee. But as a black-owned business, when you go into that guide, you're just in the guide.
Because that was the purpose. That's his purpose, is to level the playing field. So it's not whether you're black, white, blue, or green. It's that you're a business owner. And so you have the same access to business. That if you're in Target, when I walk down the aisle, I got just as much chance of buying your product as I do anybody else's product. It just don't say, hey, this is African American, unless we got an African American person on the cover of the thing, then you know it's an African American product, probably. I'm so sorry.
That's what you get.
Anyway,
being a devil's advocate.
So I'm just saying.
But the other thing is, if I'm looking at a black product like hair care, I don't know how many white women are buying black hair care products because of the difference usually in hair. So it is a niche market. There would be certain things that I'm sure you did. What the DEI was doing was saying that identify barriers to access, right? And then should it be reflective? The other thing that I didn't realize about DEI was it was saying, I used to be a college recruiter. I tell people this, where you go is important in terms of how you expand your talent pool. What we used to say in college recruiting is you cannot apply for Harvard if you do not know Harvard exists, right? But that doesn't mean that just because you don't know Harvard exists, that you would not strive and do well at Harvard. It's just being able to have those opportunities to be more sensitive to things. But there was this movement out there where I think we're dealing with a certain level of white male, because you're correct. The primary beneficiary a lot of times are women. White women. When we look at that, white women in particular. But that's also a threat to white male superiority, empowered white women, right? And so
a lot of those white women were a front for their white husband's business.
Get around the targeted piece. And look, if things were equal, now let me be devil's advocate. If things were equal, we wouldn't need a black chamber of commerce.
Well, I get that part. Yes, I agree. But so once you're in business, then it's about how you go through business. What we do is teach people how to put your business on that ground.
Right.
The marketing, making sure that your credit and stuff is in order so that you can apply for those same loans and write those same grants, just like Ruben did. It didn't matter that he wrote the grant. The grant said, okay, yep, that's what we want you to do, and so he got it. I believe it didn't matter that you were that color, right?
I'm sure it did a little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm sure it did a little bit.
but I tell
Based on the pictures that people were in, it did matter.
Listen,
Yeah, okay.
I tell people all the time too. First of all, the Black community is locked into the lowest level of a real life monopoly game. We're trying to play this game without the money. But one of the things that you have to understand that if your numbers make sense today, if your numbers make sense, your personal credit numbers, your business credit numbers, your finance and accounting, and your taxation numbers, if those numbers make sense, you can get whatever funding it is that you need.
Mm-hmm.
And now with fintech banks, it's getting even a little easier, right? So that is a situation whose time has come to where if your numbers make sense, you can get the lending that you need. But again, we're talking about making up for generations of, 400 years of slavery, right? Another 50, 60, 70 years of burning down undermining all the progress that we made in this country.
Or even access to capital.
Right.
I mean, these are things that you're eligible for. If I wanted to do a small business loan, or if I was a veteran, and they're saying that we're not going to give Black veterans who served honorably, that they're not even going to allow them to be able to access. When we talk about, let's say, FHA, right? As a veteran, you get certain you're a veteran,
right.
And so you get certain preferences. Well, if you're going to start a business and I have a piece of property, I got collateral, which means that I can walk into the bank because I have collateral. But if I can't even get it on that most basic level, and I think that's kind of where we are. We saw it with Black farmers. Black farmers had regularly been jobbed by the government and not having access. So I think it was under either Obama where he come in and said, look, we're going to address that. And you had white farmers who sued.
Right, to stop it.
So stop it. And it wasn't like it was taking anything from them. For some of them, it was just the idea, because this whole myth that white men have about meritocracy and fairness, it has nothing. Look, my guy that owns Rob Schmidt, who owns Water Street Brewery, all those things. Rob Schmidt was my one of the assistant coaches in high school. When he first opened RCs, he was able to go to his dad, I think, and this was a lot of money in the 70s. He went to his dad and got $20,000. How many of us can go to a family member, give us $20,000? Because he's already positioned, right? I mean, so when all of a sudden white people say that things are equal in theory, but there's the equity issue, and that there's still things in place that is barriers for Black people and brown people to have access to the things. Now,
see,
that's
we know
one
that.
part of it.
Wait. We know that. But the problem is with most white kids are born on third base, right?
Right. Well, so many of them, a lot of that though.
Yeah, but the ones that are related to the positions of power and authority and policy and that kind of stuff, they're born in third base, right? And they will come to manhood or womanhood believing they hit a triple to get there. I hit a triple. I had to have, because I'm living on third base, right? But they don't even want you to get up the bat, right? So I just want to bat. I want a chance to bat so I can round the bases and get to third base where you are. But they don't even want you to get up the bat, right? So they spend their time undermining every opportunity you have to get up the bat, right? And we know that. And that's why we got to get to the point where we stop worrying about what white people think, right? We have the ability to do whatever it is that we want to do in this country, regardless of this. I'm telling you, all the nonsense in Washington, D.C., all of that, you can take it all and just throw it in Lake Michigan, we have the ability, if we work together, if we begin to trust and really honor each other the way that we know we need to, we can do whatever it is we want to do in this country. We would be the 9th largest country in the world if we pool the resources.
Can I hop in on that thought that you
sure.
just had? And that's what I was going to say, as far as, you could go to they could go to their white father and get the 20 grand. And so in where we live now in our society now, the way that the white father got the 20 grand is because we out there spending our 3 billion consumer dollars, putting it into those hands. And like Ruben said, if we started collectively patronizing each other. Now, I know that we got some challenges, because we got new businesses and all that other kind of stuff. But if we put that 3 billion back into the Black community, into those businesses, we would have 20 grand. I would have 20 grand to give to my daughter or whatever. We would have that money in the community because that's $3 billion that we.
But we always talk about, what is it, about 6 hours that a dollar circulates, Black dollars circulate in Black communities. Part of that is the most basic thing, which is home ownership. That the people, even the Black businesses who do business in a community, don't live in that community, right? They're not living upstairs from the bar. They're not living upstairs from the store. And if they're doing very well, they probably are living in where that money then goes. If we look at the number of folks who are here, where you have outside companies who are basically renting these homes, a lot of that goes out the community. So I hear that about circulating in the community, but one of the ways that a Black dollar can really circulate in the community is increase home ownership. Again, I know that is a mountain, but that's the economics, because if you're not living there, right? Because part of now is, why do we have an issue with easing the residency rule? Because we realize that now you're taking the money that you earn from the city of Milwaukee out to Waukesha, or out to West Dallas. And so you're making that a better community. So it's like, that's where the money is going out. And then how do we get there? And then that gets back to some of those systemic barriers. I agree with you. You know what the barriers are. You gotta keep moving. But I don't want us to act as if those barriers are still not there and they're not sustainable.
Why don't we have a community in West Dallas? West Dallas is just the name of an area. We could be where we want to be. If you got your money, we got the money. If we spending $3 billion, we could do a whole lot of stuff if we stop putting it. The whole thing with that just came out yesterday or day before, where all the stuff is actually made in China, and these luxury stuff, they just putting a name on it. They paying $20, $30 for the actual product, then charging you 12 grand for some crazy a purse or whatever, when they pay $30 for it.
And you know what I found out? Like those knockoff Gucci purses, that's actually Gucci.
Because it's the same, right?
The Gucci people figured out, if somebody's gonna knock it off, we're gonna knock it off.
That's right.
I watched the House of Gucci, and dude was going like, what about all those knockoffs? He said, no, don't worry about the knockoffs. That's us.
Keep that money in there.
They keep the money. Did you see that blew my mind? We're inside the Wisconsin Black Chamber of Commerce. Mr. Ruben Hopkins, Mr. Xavier Fox. I get it right?
Yeah,
There you go. We're gonna take a quick break. We'll be right back.
AURN News.
I'm Jamie Jackson. A new book reveals how the longtime political alliance between Joe Biden and Barack Obama continued to unravel during the 2024 election. In Fight, journalists Jonathan Allen and Amy Parnes describe the deep years-long feud between the two men. Allen tells AURN News more.
Biden always felt like Obama kind of snubbed him some, and particularly because in 2016, Obama got behind Hillary Clinton at a time when Joe Biden wanted to run and thought it was his turn, thought it was, and then 2020, Obama told anyone who would listen that Biden wasn't up to it to run, and Biden ran anyway and won the presidency. And, at this point, Biden no longer thinks that Obama's got particularly good judgment. And Obama looks at Biden as somebody who's not, number one, was never as good at politics as Obama, never quite as smooth or talented.
For AURN News, I'm Jamie Jackson.
Good morning. I'm Tom Durian with your 4 to Know this morning. Gary Day is back in Dodge County after being extradited to Wisconsin from Nebraska. The 40-year-old was arrested earlier this month at a truck stop near Omaha. Day was caught with a pregnant 17-year-old from Beaver Dam. He's accused of taking her from her home after they met online. Authorities say Day is the father of her unborn child. The teen is now back with her family. A U.S. district judge has ruled there's probable cause for White House officials to be held in criminal contempt for violating his orders to stop using the Alien Enemies Act to deport migrants. The judge has not determined a potential penalty, and he's giving the Department of Justice time to respond. And today marks 1 week until the NFL draft in Green Bay. Construction on the draft theater is nearly complete. The draft is Thursday, April 24th at 7 p.m. TMJ4 News Today will be live from Green Bay next week. And with an increased number of visitors expected to fly into Green Bay, the Transportation Security Administration says it'll be pulling workers from Milwaukee and Madison to deal with the increase. Airport officials say they expect around 40,000 passengers coming through the week of the draft in Green Bay. As for private flights, they expect those numbers to double. For more on the
Here's a look at your updated forecast. For today, look for increasing cloud cover. Do pick up a chance for some showers and thunder showers into the afternoon with highs into the upper 50s. Scattered showers and storms then for tonight, a low of 51. For Friday, more scattered shower and storm activity up to 75 degrees, and then cooler but drier into your Saturday, cloudy up to 52. And that's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Michael Caro on AM 860, The Voice.
Milwaukee, you know her voice.
CTE was founded over 23 years ago with the mission in mind to help young people understand business, financial literacy, and themselves, and how they can find their way into the marketplace and be productive citizens.
Join the Center for Teaching Entrepreneurship for its 4th annual Big Hat Soiree. A salute to the phenomenal co-founder, Miss Radonna Rogers. Thursday, May 15th at the Marcus Center for the Performing Arts, starting at 5:30 p.m. You will be entertained by Soul Series.
Long time coming.
Anthony McGahee and Praise Motivation.
What happened? We believe you, God. Everybody sing.
And comedian D-Rock.
Hey, listen, Sunday in 30 years, go to church every Sunday. Drop my mama off, and I go home and watch the game.
So ladies, this is the time to wear your big hat. And gentlemen, your stylish fedora. We will also celebrate and recognize the accomplishments of Milwaukee's leaders in entrepreneurial ventures. Tickets are just $75. You can visit Eventbrite, EHS25, or call 414-788-8104. That's 414-788-8104. This is the event to kick off.
At U.S. Bank, when they say they're in it with you, they mean it. Not just for the good stuff, the grand openings and celebrations, although those are pretty great, but for all the hard work it took to get there, the fine-tuning of goals, the managing of cash and workflows, and decision-making. They're proving day in and day out that there's nothing as powerful as the power of us. USBank.com to get started today. Equal housing lender, copyright 2024 U.S. Bank.
There's a wind calling up all over the prepare for the been structured. Come through your rewards card and think for us to enjoy it. Each Thursday, 60 winners will compete for thousands of cash and prizes. Your journey there with enchanted spins only at one line. More info online. Costing $25 reward.
And look that.
I stay ready, y'all. Ready to ride. I know how to ride.
And At 11 o'clock, it's the Burnt Toast and Coffee Check-In. Your chance to take over the show and become the host for just a few doggone minutes. Saying happy birthday, get well soon, send out condolences. I'm not sure of what it is, but you're invited to join us. You can interview with some of your favorite artists. We feature new music. It all happens each and every Saturday from 9 until 2, right here on 860 WNOV and 106.5 FM.
860 AM, 106.5 FM. WNOV, The Voice. You're inside Community Voice on WNOV 860 AM and 106.5 FM with your host, Keith Parris.
This
Keep over there strong.
probably Kamala Harris's finest moment throughout the campaign when she just looked at him in frustration and go, and every black person in the just said, knew what she was saying. We had always been like, this one, this is. So with that said, we were having a very animated conversation around, but that's the other thing around, if I could use this term, business, and just the things that go into business. Ruben talks about the things that you can control, right? How you do your business plan, execution of your business plan, financing it. But then there are things that's outside of your business control, like a pandemic. Or now we're going to have more of an issue. Tariffs. Right. Well, tariffs mean supply chain issues. Right. So that and pricing. So then you have certain things, and
but you do know that China and Japan have been charging us tariffs the whole time.
We've been charging them tariffs,
but not in nearly as much a percentage
I
as
realize
they've been
that
charging
everything
us.
comes in at 10%.
We don't sell nothing over in Japan and China, not nearly as much as what they sell over here. We feed into their economy all the time, but they don't let us get anything out of theirs.
There's a couple of reasons. One, they're going to protect their economy.
Absolutely,
And
we should too.
They don't like American products.
That's the problem, because we don't like them that much either. But still, but still, even the stuff made by China and Japan, a lot of that is not high quality stuff. You get a lot of crap from over there as well. But the labor, the businesses here don't want to pay the labor costs, and so over in China, the labor cost is lower because everybody got a freaking job. I guess
billion of them.
There's a bunch of them, but we don't want to get to don't upset nobody now.
Then, well, hold on, and then the government supports them. So when you look at wages that are being paid, they can get wages, but then their housing is taken care of by the government, healthcare is taken care of, by the government. So when you look at the actual costs, and so you bring it down. Now Vietnam, I have no clue to how those folks are living. And then here's the other thing about American products. Most folks can't afford an American car. How many cars you see in Vietnam? Not a lot, right? And if they are, then they're usually cars that are made for companies. But the average Vietnamese can't afford a car. In America, most Americans can afford some type of car.
Some type of car.
Well, I'm just saying.
Because I had the Honda for a long time.
And that's the other thing. I'll never forget, this was in the 80s when they were talking about the whole Japanese, and this is when we began to really start seeing Japanese imports coming in. I think the first one was Honda. We had Toyota, but Honda came in. The guy closed the door. So you hear that sound? Because when you close the door on a Japanese car, it had a different sound than the door on an American car.
Sounded like it closed.
Right. And then, And then Americans, and this goes back to a brother. I can't think of this guy's name. He did the fillet in the light bulb. And so the way he did it, that fillet could last 1,200 hours. They cut it down to 600 hours. And then there was a term that was introduced into the American business lexicon, design obsolescence. you build the product that would last, one, that people would have to rebuy it more frequently,
Mhm.
or if it was a car, you build it to the point where it would last through financing.
Mm.
And then it would break down, and what would you have to do?
You got to go put
You gotta
money
go and buy-
into it.
Where the Japanese,
Mhm.
I'm driving a Japanese built car now that has 125,000 miles on it.
Mhm.
It runs the same as it did
I
when
flipped
first
mine to
got it.
200,000.
There you go.
Mhm.
So the quality piece,
I had a Lexus that was over 200,000 miles.
Toyota.
Mhm.
So I'm just saying that all those things, but I think you both are right in terms of how do we address it. But as Ruben's saying, these externals that we don't control will have impact on, businesses, black businesses, white businesses.
But I know one thing that is not made in Japan or China.
What's that?
And that's wine. Our black wine.
It is in Europe.
Our black winemaker Chicago day trip is the wine is made in Chicago, and we have our trip coming up next set. You like that segue?
Yeah, champagne's getting ready to go up though.
If you would like to join us, make sure that you go to our website, the Black Winemaker Chicago Day Trip. I'm sure you guys have heard of it. A lot of people have gone. Yeah. Did you get some of the wine at the gala? Did you try some of it? Yeah. We have our winemakers. They come and do samples. One lady, Tamika Edwards, she's planning to open up a wine bar here in Milwaukee. We have her at most of our events now, so you could try her wine, and she getting a feel for what we want in our community as far as a wine bar. But our event is Saturday, April 26th. We leave from 2900 West Valete at 10 a.m. We drive on over Chicago. We get a little bite to eat. We go make some wine, have a great experience, and create those memories. And then after we make wine, we stop for dinner over in Chicago. I think this time we're going to Meat Moot.
Meat Moot.
Yeah. Ruben found it on Instagram. He's like, I want to go here. And that place it looks pretty amazing. I'm looking forward to it. And did I tell you it's only 25 minutes from where we're going to be at? So we're going to go to Meat Moot for dinner. So anybody out there Googling right now, if you want to go to Meat Moot, come on and sign up for the Black Winemaker Chicago Day Trip, April 26th, 10 a.m. to 10 p.m.
MOOT.
Yeah, we're going to go to Meat Moot.
Meat Moot, Burbank, Illinois.
They're all over. Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Burbank Crossing.
The meat looks so good.
They said the best smoking meat.
Oh, it looks so good. I can't wait to get some of that beef. That beef look good.
Well, you know what? And it's halal, which means, just so people know, that means it's allowable. That means it. So these must be Muslims.
Yeah,
I believe so.
Yeah. Okay.
Because they got one in Egypt and they have one in. They're all over the world.
I love halal meat. Oh my God, man! People say, man, it's almost like what is it? The cows in Japan. No, what is the cows? There's wasabi, but there's another beef that you Wagyu, but there's another beef that they also do. That's Japanese. That's just expensive, but when you taste it, you go, okay, I can say that massage cow. Okay, so we got the wine tasting. We also
have Mommy and Me coming up. I'm excited about that. May 10th, the day before Mother's Day, Mommy and Me fitness walk. We do a mile around. We'll be out at Veterans Park. We do a mile around, and every quarter of a mile, there's a fitness instructor. They're going to stretch you out, get you a little workout. We got to be more on top of our health in our community. We have a lot of stuff going on that doesn't have to be going on in your body. You just got to move your body. I was listening to a show the other day. They said motion is lotion. Keep it moving, and it'll be smooth. So that is Mommy and Me. We have vendors out there. We're going to have food vendors out there. Lots of different things going on. So make sure that you come on out. You can go to the website. Yeah. We got on the website yet, so you can register. We're going to do boat rides again this year. So last year we did boat rides. I think a few of you might have missed your ride, but we're going to do boat rides again this year at the Milwaukee Community Sailing Center. Yeah, we're going to go right across the little walkway for the boat rides. It's going to be a great time like it was last year. So make sure you come on out. Churches and other organizations, this is also an opportunity for you to do a fundraiser. Get your group together and get your pledge sheets. You guys can raise some money within your organization. So, May 10th out at Veterans Park on the beautiful lakefront, right there by what is the art museum is over there and the war memorial
where they have the kite flying.
and the kite fly. Yeah, we right there by the kites. Mm-hmm. Actually, I'm gonna talk to them and see if we can fly some kites this year on that other side.
Because they do a real big kite festival.
Yeah,
here, don't
that's
they?
coming up in May, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, but you go down to Veterans Park, you see people out there with the kites
Mm-hmm.
all the time.
And they cut. Did you notice they cut all them trees down over there? I don't know what they're about to do, but they cut all the trees down around that little pond.
Yeah, I think it was just beautification.
Yeah, that does look better. It looks better. We can see everything over there. I used to walk past there and be like, "What's over in there?"
Well, you know, back up at Rose Park, they had to take down the shrubbery that used to be there on Burleigh.
Mm,
Yeah,
okay.
People don't even remember that. It used to be all that shrubbery starting down on Vel Phillips and all the way up to King Drive on the Burleigh side. Yeah, that you had. They also had to take it down. There were some other things going on down in Juneau Park that they had to take it down. A lot of that vegetation. I think it could also be something with the land too, or maybe the trees. So what else we got?
Okay. After Mommy and Me, we also have the Big Hat Soiree. That's our next third Thursday, though. So anybody planning to go to the Big Hat Soiree, we will be there. We'll be doing the pitch competition at the Big Hat Soiree this year. I think we did it for the last 2 years there. Yeah. So the Big Hat Soiree, we will be part of that as well. I don't want to go no further than that because nobody's going to remember stuff that far. That's May 17th. Whatever the third Thursday is in May, I believe. Let me see. Did I write it down?
Yeah, because someone had brought up about wearing white, and it's okay to wear white, and that would also be some of those big hats.
Yeah, because after Easter, I mean, this is old school stuff. I don't think the young people pay no attention to this. But after Easter, you can wear white all the way up until Labor Day, and then after Labor Day, you can't wear white no more.
I follow that. That happens with.
I kind of follow it because that's how I grew up.
Yeah,
so
with my spectators. A pair of spectators. I don't, I bust them out. Yeah, probably in June.
I don't have my white shoes, my white pants, none of that stuff. I don't wear that after Easter.
I don't know. I'm just.
But yes, once again, before we run out of time, I always try and get in at least twice. Tonight is third Thursday. It's our third Thursday networking event featuring the pitch competition. So all entrepreneurs and business owners, this is your opportunity to get in and qualify to compete for the $10,000, $7,000, or $3,000 in December. You know, we have a great time in December. I'm sure you guys have seen the video several times at this point. If not, you can go to our website and check it out. But we'll be at Cream City Social, 432 East Center. It's right there on Houghton and Center, right on the corner on the, what is that, the north side of the street. Yeah, the northwest corner of the street, right on Houghton and Center. Starts at 5 p.m. If you want to pitch, you need to get there at 5 p.m. because we register people to compete from 5 to 5:15. We love to see you out there. They have great food and they have good drinks. So come on out and have a good time with us tonight.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, now back to your topic. Dang that fool.
Yeah, what a difference an election makes. Boy, you know, man.
It's an embarrassment. I think I'm more embarrassed for white people than I've ever been. Because there's my white friends are so they just look at me and shake their head. You know, it's like, I said we tried to tell y'all. But you can be, I don't know. I just, it is obvious to me that the guy is not very smart, you know. Yeah. So I know some criminals, right?
Oh.
And why are you looking at me? I know some criminals.
I thought he was about to introduce you. I know some criminals here.
Keith, want to jump in?
And they're just criminals. They're just not gonna do right? And I'm always like looking at them like, but you know you're scamming people, or you know you're taking advantage of people. But that's all they know how to do. They can't. You know, they're smart enough to know that how to stop at a stoplight. You know, they can function as human beings, but They're criminals, and that's all they know.
So you're saying that Trump is a criminal?
Oh, that's all he knows. It's criminal activity.
Felon. He's a convicted felon. I mean,
that's amazing to me, though. I'm not understanding how he can be a convicted felon and be elected to. Why was he even able to run?
Because it's not a bar. The only qualifications that you need to be, I think you have to be a
36.
U.S. citizen, a natural-born U.S. citizen, and at least 36.
To run for president?
That's all you need.
How come you ain't running?
Any elected office.
Why don't you run, Ruben?
For president?
Yeah.
Nah.
Why?
I like women too much to run for president. I'm being honest.
Oh, yeah, you probably would get in trouble.
Well, don't sound like that's a bar. That doesn't seem to be a bar. It used to be that if you had a candidate who was dealing with infidelity issues, it was the death knell for your campaign. Ask Gary Hart.
Yeah.
Ask John Edwards. I mean, the list is long until we get to Donald Trump.
Wait, has there been a single? What, Kennedy was single? No. Has there been an unmarried president?
Yeah, Franklin Pierce, I think, was unmarried. Grover Cleveland, when he first got in office, was unmarried, and then he ended up marrying somebody. I think Franklin Pierce was. There's a couple single men.
See, you can't get in trouble for liking women because you're not married. So you can still run for president. I'll vote for you, Ruben. I got you.
Run, Ruben, run.
I'll be your vice president.
Okay, all right. There we go.
Too.
Oh boy, you really got a problem with that. That's gonna be a problematic ticket.
When it hit the fan.
Now I don't know how we're gonna get the House to support us. We got to do like Donald Trump.
A pretty long list.
And set it up so that you got all the Democrats in there. So, because I think he was working on that before he got in the office. Because how he get an all Republican House?
There was a lot gerrymander. I'm watching a piece on HBO Max talked about dark money. And one of the things they were able to do, and Wisconsin is a prime example. Wisconsin every year is a purple state. How do Republicans have a supermajority in the assembly? I think they just lost it.
Purple.
Purple in terms of how elections go.
Blue and red make purple. And so
so we're mixed. Okay.
They don't know which way the election is going to go.
Okay. Here are presidents who were single.
Ulysses S. Grant.
John Tyler. This is coming up.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
We're going to get your name on there, Ruben.
How many have any presidents been single? Tall, stately, Stephen. Let's see.
Just give us a number. We don't need to know the name.
James Buchanan.
Remember them anyway.
Yeah.
So
Chester Arthur.
Do we not yet?
No, go on.
No, the incubator stuff. We got a little bit talk.
No, I think that's for the next time we visit. We'll be talking about some of the internal changes that are going on.
Okay. Y'all just know we got some stuff coming.
You always do. All right. So here are the several presidents were unmarried for all or part of their administration. Thomas Jefferson. Andrew Jackson, I thought he killed a guy because of that. Maybe Chester A. Arthur and Martin Van Buren were widowed prior to becoming president. John Tyler, Benjamin Harrison, and Woodrow Wilson's wives died while they were in office. James Buchanan was a lifelong bachelor and never married. Grover Cleveland entered the White House as a bachelor, but married while in office. A lot of scandal around that. Okay. So I don't know. Okay. John Tyler. Okay.
So there was a few. We're gonna get Ruben's name added to that one. He gonna be single going in.
Yeah, I know. Talk about was an existential really important thing.
Just trying to get you elected, Ruben. That's all. We're gonna have a vote for Ruben campaign.
Hey man, I say if the felon can run with 30 for convictions,
that's crazy.
Someone like yourself with integrity should be able to run.
I really think Ruben should run for some office though, because he's been around in this community for so many years doing stuff. He really needs to.
A lot of people have been around.
Well, we choose you, Ruben.
But we
We choose you, Doc.
Put that Willie Hutch on. Let me appreciate Ruben. Xavier, thank you.
Thank you.
Good Lord willing, the creek don't rise. We hope to talk to everybody tomorrow.
Come on
and
out
as
tonight.
always. Where?
Come on out tonight. Cream City Social, 432 East Center.
What time is it start?
5 o'clock.
Good Lord willing, creek don't rise. Hope to talk to everybody tomorrow. And as always, go from this place in peace.